it's very hard to know what is not serving you anymore. But once you are in the journey, you start to see that there is many things that you were holding in your hands for many years, and you just don't need them, and you just put them down. And it's like, oh, now my hands are free again. It's actually a fear of people not going out on a journey. So there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to go on a journey because they are afraid to lose who they are today. When you focus on yourself, not from an egoistic perspective, from like, I need to have good quality of life, I need to be in the right mindset, I need to be healthy in my head, healthy in my heart, healthy in my body, healthy in my spirit. So when I'm containing those qualities, I believe that it's not important where in the world you are and who you see. If you're isolated in a cave or you're in the middle of New York now, you are raising the level of consciousness in the world.
My name is Jordan, and for the last 9 years, I've been living for what many might have looked like a dream. I was a real estate broker in one of the fastest growing cities of America, but for some reason could just never quite find happiness. After being diagnosed with a rare, incurable eye disease that oftentimes leads to blindness, I decided now more than ever is a time for me to follow my true dreams, which is to see the world. So I packed up my bags, packed up my home, and bought a one-way ticket across the world. During my solo travels, I rediscovered a new meaning for life and found that there was hope for me to heal my own body. I'm so excited that you're joining me on this journey as I rediscover me and find that this diagnosis was the best thing that ever happened to me.
It's busy here, and it's a little bit sometimes even a little bit concerning, like to see what's gonna evolve out of Koh Phangan, because Koh Phangan was a remote, small island, quite hippie, not expensive, and it's becoming like Ibiza, very expensive, a lot of different cultures are coming in now, a lot of money is flowing into the island, and there is good side to this, as you can see, and there is bad side for this, and everybody meets it in a different way.
Right. Well, I know that when I got recommended to go to Koh Phangan, the two people that I knew, they had been there in like 2018. So they were there several years ago. And I've been on a lot of the Facebook groups for Koh Phangan, and I keep seeing people say that they're just talking about how like money's coming in and making everything expensive, and it's just a shame because, like you said, it's good and bad. So
yeah, but my general attitude when you ask me things about life, I tell you, we need to embrace it as it comes and to understand how to navigate it. And so I'm not sitting and complaining about the changes. I'm just trying to understand how to navigate it in a healthy way. But for sure, situation between Russia and Ukraine have thrown a lot of Russian and Ukrainians into Koh Phangan. Situations in countries like Israel with the politics there is throwing out a lot of people from Israel to Koh Phangan. So there is a lot of people from, that are being influenced by situations in their countries, and they are leaving their countries, and they are not really necessarily the average type of hippie that used to come to Koh Phangan because they were hippies anyway. These more like people who kind of understanding that the lifestyle that they have in their countries is not working for them anymore, but they're also not so sure how they want it to be. So, they arrive to Koh Phangan, they don't know what to expect, there is a lot of challenges living on an island, it's not the same as living in the big cities, and so there is a lot of changes happening, and there is a lot of like new schools for kids, there is a lot of things that happening. And we're trying to meet it in open arms,
Right. Which that, like you said, it could totally change the culture of everything, because if they are leaving their country because they're maybe not happy or there's chaos there, and then they come here, it could shift the culture of the community too. So I could see that definitely. But
there is something inside of me also that we need to look at evolution. And when I went to do the Wonder Village project and I was creating the podcast for the village, I don't know if it's part of the thing that they actually broadcast in the website of the Wonder Village, but I was talking about the fact that Wonder Village is how we're going to live in 2045. So it's like if you look 20 years ahead, we're all going to live in small villages again, outside of the big cities. We're going to be more focused on community. So, people leaving their countries and their big cities looking for other forms of creating life, it's part of what's happening in the world. It's like we cannot think that, let's leave the cities, let's live more in the nature. And then when people coming to the islands and into the nature, we're sitting and complaining, why are they doing it? It's like, it's actually really happening, So maybe we need to learn how to support it and to integrate it and to, I'm just saying it's part of the changes that the world is experiencing, as same as you and me going through changes and understanding about consciousness and changing the way that we relate to each other, and we practice different practices and we study different things. And so it's part of that movement.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not fully integrated yet. And I think that's part of the challenge of us as humanity, is like how to find the way to integrate everyone together and not to say, these people, they bring different culture, we need to avoid them, we need to isolate ourselves. It's like, it doesn't make sense. We need to find ways to bridge it. And I think that's something that should be considered also by the people who live here for long time, and how to welcome or to receive the new people that are coming. And so let's do more inner work on the island, so the new people that are coming will be able to experience these practices. Like let's do more open evenings about the Book of Tao and about Buddhism and about other teachings that we learned with the years living outside of the matrix, let's call it like this, and share it with people. I think like that's where I am with that. It's more or less like, oh God, what's happening? It's like more like how we can integrate what we have here with the people that are coming.
No, I mean, that makes sense. That's interesting. That's kind of, I'm in the opposite situation, but it just, you talk about integration, and I think that's kind of, I'm in a space where I'm trying to decide if I want to go try to find a community that's more of like the hippie and nature, if I want to live like that, because initially that's what I thought I wanted to do. And now I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, or should I just be able to integrate who I am into like a city and, the way of life here? So I'm trying to find the balance between what is actual integration and what is like something to have pushback on, if that even makes sense.
It's a lot makes sense. And actually, a lot of people think that I'm advocating people to break the system. And I'm actually more into advocating people how to integrate their skills and knowledge and understanding into the reality, into where they're coming from, into their business environment. So like, I'm actually thinking that, okay, you come back to your community. Okay, what kind of connections you make with other people, how you can bring this depth in relations to other people. How do you maintain your practice? How you keep shining your light wherever you go. And so I always like to say, at night, all the bugs, the flies are coming to the light. Yeah. So if let's say that there is some level of darkness or shadow or blindness in the society where you're originally coming from, and you kind of understanding something, so you hold on some kind of a light, we can call it. And so you're holding this light. Can you go back with this light to your community and hold this light steady and shine it, so whatever is happening there will be more illuminated and people will be able to see more clearly and open their eyes, and maybe they will also be attracted to you because you're holding the light, and then you can share whatever you have with others. And so you're actually doing the real work, and the real work is spreading it around, So like, why are you recording this session? Why are you doing what you're doing now? Because you want to spread it, yeah? You want to share it. So like, okay, so let's do it. Let's share it. Let's welcome everyone. And if we need to go to live in the big cities, let's go to live in the big cities. I don't think that there is a disease inherently in a big city. I think there is a lot of separation, a lot of cultural issues, like a lot of people are egoistically self-centered. I'm also self-centered. I'm not saying I'm not self-centered, but I'm not so much about like me. I am. I need. I want. I need. Give me everything. It has to be my way. It's like, so I'm trying to also be self-centered in a way that I'm trying to create like good well-being for my life, but I'm trying to see how I can harmonize it with you and other people living on this planet. So when you start to understand those things, it's like, so don't separate yourself. Go and share it with the people in the cities that maybe culturally we've become a little bit too greedy or too materialistic or too much, like, how do I look? What people think about me? If I'm satisfying my community, my parents, what people like, oh, I have a good car, I have these things and so on. Or like maybe we can actually bring some different concept into this people reality, and then they might leave the egoistic self-centered concept and so on, so on. And so it's not about criticizing anyone. It's more about like, okay, you think you know something? Okay, go on and share it. Before, when in your previous life, when you were thinking that you know something, you went and you pushed it into other people's life. Now you think you know something? How can you do it without pushing it, without rubbing it in their face, without annoying them in your new understandings? Like, how can you really come in a pleasant way and just be there and allow them to ask you questions, to be interested in you, see what you're doing, leading by example maybe, and not by pushing your understandings into other people's reality. And I think that is when we become more open and welcoming, and so people are more interested. And I think we're living in amazing times. People are more interested. People are asking more questions. There is globalization that allows us to bring information all over the world very easily. Me and you sitting now in the other side of the world, and we can share knowledge and understanding. It's like, so we are living in amazing times. I don't think ever humanity had such an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
With all the chaos that is happening, we have amazing opportunities. We've got the technology, we've got the knowledge, we've got the experience. Let's share it.
Yeah, I think for me, which it's funny because it's kind of selfish, but I think for me, it's like, okay, it's easier to stay grounded and centered when you're in a place like Koh Phangan, because it's so much harder to, like you said, do the work in an environment where you might be like one out of like 10 that are really, focused on a conscious lifestyle. So I think that it's so much easier to be in a community that is centered around consciousness, but also, like you said, that if everyone did that, then you would have all of like the conscious people over here, and then you'd have like all of whatever you want to call like in other areas. So it really wouldn't be raising like the consciousness of the world and the universe. Like we wouldn't be doing our work to like help raise the consciousness other places if everyone just kind of like goes the easy route. There was a YouTube video that Anna had sent me that talks about just like how we were all sent here to raise the consciousness of the universe, and it breaks it down so beautifully about how like whenever we meet like somebody whose light is shining, that it raises our consciousness. So it's like we're all kind of here to kind of connect with each other to like continue to raise the consciousness. So it's like we need to be like out in the, like, I would say out in the streets, like, doing the work to raise the consciousness overall, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's just like a double-edged sword. You don't know, or at least for me, I'm trying to decide, do I want to try to like go through the battle and try to remain grounded in an environment that is not focused on consciousness, or do I want to go to a conscious community that's going to be so much easier for me? But then you have like, I don't know, it's like you do want the light and the darkness in your life. So I don't know. So that's ironically, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I'll give you a few perspectives that I have about this topic. One of them that once you're going to live in conscious community, you will discover that most of it's not really conscious community, it's just a lot of people with different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So you left the battle also there. That's something to take into considerations. And a lot of people that live or trying to live in conscious community, we really laugh hearing me saying this, because it's actually what we mostly experience, that you go to live in a conscious community, but you meet a lot of unconscious behavior. But that's one thing. But what I want to say is that once you understood everything that you just shared, okay, I would say go and be focused on yourself. And it will sound a little bit weird what I'm going to say now, but I think it will make sense. When you focus on yourself, not from an egoistic perspective, from like, I need to have good quality of life, I need to be in the right mindset, I need to be healthy in my head, healthy in my heart, healthy in my body, yeah, healthy in my spirit. So when I'm containing those qualities, I believe that it's not important where in the world you are and who you see. If you're isolated in a cave or you're in the middle of New York now, you are raising the level of consciousness in the world. Because in order to raise the level of consciousness, we need a healthy mindset, healthy heart, healthy spirit, healthy body. Yeah? Now, what I'm saying basically is that maybe in this time in your life, you need to be a little bit more concerned about your personal choices. Where do you live? What do you do? And so on and so on. Maybe at some point in your life, you could be a little bit more relaxed about it and go to live in a place that is less comfortable for you, and still maintain kind of center and peace in the heart. But if you feel that you are challenging yourself or pushing yourself into places that are becoming unhealthy for you, just in order to serve some mission that you so-called believe in, but you're kind of forgetting yourself in that mission, I think you're not really serving that mission.
Mm-hmm.
You're serving something else. You're serving fear, actually. Because when you think that the mission is more important than your own well-being, you're serving a concept of fear that is separating us from other people and from the real mission, which is harmony and peace. And like someone who is not in harmony cannot bring harmony. So, if in this time in your life, you're skilled enough to do what you're doing, keep doing it. But if you feel that it's too challenging for you, so find a better environment, focus on your own life. Don't try to serve the mission more than you're actually serving your own personal journey. And I hope this is the attitude that I'm trying to bring forward to people. It's finding the balance between inside and outside, not just saving the world from, I don't know, some kind of imaginary disaster that is coming.
Yeah. Well, ironically, when I came back to the States, I moved into like an RV and I'm living on 20 acres. And so I went from living in a big city to going to Koh Phangan and then coming back, but living in the country where I see no one. So I've gone into you said like living in a cave. I feel like I might as well be living in a cave right now. And now now that time, this chapter is done, I feel like for me, now I'm just trying to figure out, like, do I want to go live back in a city or do I want to go like live in nature somewhere? And it's just really like, every day it's just like a big battle. And I was just thinking about how I don't even feel connected to the person that I used to be at all. Like I feel like I don't even feel like I know that person. And I was trying to imagine, okay, well, the old me would have just like needed to be in a city, and that's what would have been comfortable. And now I'm just like, okay, so if I go like live in nature, it was this battle between like, I don't even feel connected to who I was at all anymore. Is there a way to embody that person a little bit, but still embody this person? And I was just kind of having all of these thoughts about like, I don't know which direction to go. So it's, it's just interesting trying like being somebody like who's done a total 360 and just changed my mindset, my living situation, who I am as a person, and then trying to just decide, do I keep going down the road of totally being different, or obviously I'm not going to go back, but is there like some kind of balance like between the two worlds, if that makes sense?
You know, you're presenting a dilemma that I'm hearing a lot, like a lot. I think everyone who stood one day and put his life behind and went on a journey and went through a journey that, like, as we like to call it, a life-changing journey, like left his life for 6 months, been on adventure, whatever it was with yoga or meditation, or just climbed the mountain. I think he's facing sometimes, or quite often, those people face this: who was I? Who was this person? I cannot even so much identify with my past identity. Like, it even seems like a weird experience of like, it was a stranger. Like, I don't even really know him so well. Like, why he was doing all these things in the past, and like, why he was making all these decisions, and so, and at this point, I want to bring you something. It's a challenging moment. There is a lot of fear around it. The fear around this question, what I'm gonna explore now, is actually a fear of people not going out on a journey. So there is a lot of people out there that are afraid to go on a journey because they are afraid to lose who they are today. Yeah, they are holding on to their past identity before they even go to the journey that you went on, because they are afraid to lose themselves in this journey. Like, what will happen to me? Who am I gonna be? And so on. And so I will just say a few things. One, why is it important for me as a human being to stay connected to who I was before? What is there that I need of my past? Like, so the voices that I hear now in the back of my mind is actually around the word fear. Fear of losing my past relations, my connection to my family or friends, my skills as a human being. Maybe I had a good job or I was making money, my capacity to survive. So like, I'm afraid that I'm losing something. Yeah. And I don't think that we can actually lose anything. I think we're always moving forward and we're keeping what is relevant for us. And it's not that we are losing stuff or we are missing out of things of our past. It's just we are just letting go of things that is not serving us anymore. And it's very hard to know what is not serving you anymore. But once you are in the journey, you start to see that there is many things that you were holding in your hands for many years, and you just don't need them, and you just put them down. And it's like, oh, now my hands are free again. Like I was holding this thing all my life, like, and protecting it, and like, I don't need this anymore. And I'm all free now. And I think this freedom is also scaring. I used to have something in my hand all my life, and now like I'm empty, and like, wow, like I'm really scared. And in this point, there is few common fears that are coming. So I will suggest you at this time, take this object, play with this. So when I'm offering you a new object at this moment in your life, when you already let go of the object of before, yeah, you're actually scared to pick this object up. One of the reasons you're scared is because you feel that you're going to get stuck with it. And so before you pick it up, you think, I need to be really careful and smart to make the right decision which object I will pick up. Because inside of you, there is an embodiment of a concept that if you pick something up, you really need to hold it very strong. But if I tell you, no, just pick it up lightly, play with it. If you don't need it, put it down and pick another object up. Oh, you see, now I have this one. Oh, okay. You see how quickly I changed? Now, in our mind, it doesn't happen like this. So even if we learn to let go of things, we are really afraid of the future decisions. Like they're really meaningful, like they're really important. And we're kind of forgetting that, wait, if once in my life I could drop off objects, I can actually learn to pick new one up and to let them go again, and pick new ones up and to let them go again. And so look what I'm doing now. You remember this one? I used it before. I pick it up again. I'm going to play with this little bit, but I know how to put it down. And you remember this one? I can pick it up again. So I can move the objects in my hand. I can move in and out. So now you picked up a van and you're living in the middle of nowhere. Okay, you had a good time. Can you let it go? Okay, go to the city. Play a game. Play 2 games. See what's happening. You're not stuck. You're a free woman navigating this reality, and you can always move on or stay. So there is another fear that now is coming up in this realm. It's like, oh, so now I'm not consistent. Now I'm not really going deep with anything because I can pick up things and I can drop them and I can pick up things. So I'm becoming like a very not serious person, and nobody can rely on me, and I cannot build up big projects and so on. No, that's not this meaning. It's not about that. It's not about that. If you feel like picking up something and staying with this for 20 years, you are more than welcome. It's okay. You always know that you have the option to choose if you want to continue holding the object or letting it go. And I don't think that I'm not a committed person. I think I'm a very committed person. But I don't hold on to the objects that I pick up that seriously, that aggressively. I'm not going to kill you for my ideas. I'm not going to fight with you for my ideas. But I will work for them. I will invest time in my things that I want to create in this life. And if I see that it's not working anymore for me, for the community, for my life, okay, we can stop doing it. Let's look for other options. So it's really about learning that you are free and you can move, and it's not so important your next decision. It's not that important. You can make a mistake because you know how to change, because you know how to shift yourself, you know how to upgrade yourself. You have done it before. Don't forget it. You know how to do it. You know, it's like it's inside of you. And I think this is the power that is lying here, you know, inside of you. That's like remembering that you always can move on and shift and change. And, you know, sometimes there is 2 options on the table and you don't know what to choose, you know, and sometimes I will tell you, flip a coin. It's okay. Just flip a coin.
Yeah.
Take a direction. See what's coming in.
I think that, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think that the first thing is, I feel like, as you mentioned, I don't even resonate with who that person was anymore at all. It's literally as if it's a total stranger. So I feel as if I'm just a newborn baby that's just like plopped into this world. And now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And of course, the concepts of time, you know, have been running through my mind like, okay, you're not 20 years old. you can't just decide now like, oh, I think I'm just gonna go volunteer and work at like an animal shelter in the jungle, you know. Like, so it's like this concepts of time, but that's why I'm trying really hard to remind myself of everything that I've learned, that the concept of time is not even really real or relevant, and just to live in this moment now. And so I think that that's like one thing, is just having fear of like, is this the right time frame and what am I going to do? But also I think, like you said too, I think that I it is like a focus of, okay, well, if I move to like Mexico, is that a commitment? Did I commit to that? But you're right. Like, I mean, I can just say, okay, I've been here for 3 months and I guess I'm done now. So it's definitely, yeah, it's just lots of things. But I do know for sure I am not going back to where I was. Cause I don't even, the life that I had back in Dallas, where I was living, I can't even, I want no parts of it. And I don't know if that's unhealthy also, that I just have zero desire to even be a part of that life anymore. So I'm just personally trying to navigate through all of this stuff as I'm trying to figure out what the next move is.
There is two pointers that coming up as you're speaking, and it's always about how we phrase ourselves, the concept. At the moment, I have nothing that is calling me to Dallas. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, at the moment, that's it. You're not signing a life contract now that you have zero interest in your past life. I don't know, or zero interest in something. At the moment, is not relevant in your life. That's one thing that I like to look at. So at the moment, I was born in Israel, and I have no interest to be there at the moment. I don't know. I'm not committed to anything. I don't have to sign a contract to anyone. It's my life. I'm free to choose whenever I want that I have an interest in Israel and I go there. So at the moment, there is no interest in me. And so I'm feeling very open, even the way I'm wording it to myself. At the moment, it's not relevant. That's one thing. Another thing, I call it, I play the all-in game. The all-in. I'm all into the things that I do. So if you decide that you go now to Mexico, it's not about if you're going to be there for a week or for 3 months. It's about when you're arriving there, are you all into the experience? Are you all committed to be there fully, to experience whatever is happening there, to give everything that you have to make the best out of this until the moment that you will decide that you're leaving? But until that second, you live fully into that. So I think that what I do in my life, that everything that I'm doing, I'm fully committed to it. It's like I'm sitting and talking with you now. It's in a very small scale it's happened. I'm sitting and talking with you now. I'm all into that. I have zero interest in what happened in my life post this conversation. And now I'm fully into that. And when I'll finish that, I will be all into the next moment of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually very committed to everything that I'm doing. And so if now I'm going to Mexico, so let's do Mexico. Let's be there. And when we understand that we finished, so we finished. But it's not like I'm constantly living in a doubt. I'm in the right place. I'm in the wrong place. There is another option there. There's another opportunity there. No, okay. Where are you going now? Go all in with this and do it. So go to the city and be all into the city and be the city life and fully live it and learn whatever you need to learn, make whatever so-called mistakes you need to make, learn the things that you can take from there, do things that are not aligned with your beliefs, see it, learn from it, and grow, and then change whatever you need to change. It's like, give it. Go all in with this. It's just another moment of experience.
I think it's funny because I heard you say something when I was on the island in regards to how you don't really like to plan that much as far out with like your schedule or your life. And I've kind of, ever since I heard you say that, I kind of have just really have felt the same way because I've just realized how everything changes. I mean, it can change so quickly, or you could, like you said, just decide like, hey, I'm not there right now or anymore, and my heart's not there, so I just need to be done. And I think in my past life, I committed to things so hard. Like I'm doing this, I'm creating this business, or oh, I'm in this relationship, or whatever. And I just committed so much that I never could let go. And now that I've actually let go of everything, now I don't want, like you said, I don't want to like hold on to anything. So that's why I am trying to practice that as far as wherever you are, be there, because there's, in my opinion, and what I feel like I've learned maybe from things that you've said, that there's no point in planning 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road, because I mean, everything could be, I mean, it will be totally different regardless. It'll be completely different. So I think that at least where I grew up, it's so common to, like, we need a plan for everything. And it puts a big, it puts a big safety net on people's lives. They don't get to experience as much as I think that they could, because they're so used to planning and they need to follow a plan. So that's definitely something that's like a takeaway I learned from you as far as planning.
So, so I give you like something to look at it at that territory. So then you can ask and come and ask me a question. So you're creating this project called Wonder Village now. So it's like it's it's now almost 1.5 years that I'm into this project. There is at least 2 years of construction. So it's like it's going to be a 5 years project of creation, not even operating it. I'm just creating it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask me, so with all of this spiritual mumbo jumbo that you give me about not planning ahead, you are involved in a huge project that contains like at least 60 different entities involved in it, and like 5 years project, and so on, so on, so on, so on. It's like, so how does it matches?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I think that we need to understand that in one hand, we can create a plan. Yeah. And then kind of say, okay, this is this is the road I'm going on. And now I drop this. Okay, today, this is my second hand. Very focused today. What are the tasks? What is relevant to do? What is serving my mental, physical being, my environment? What can I do to support the project that I'm involved? Okay, I've done my job for today. Thank you. Tomorrow is a new day. So on the day-to-day level, I'm living a lot around the now and the moment and the next thing that I need to do and so on. And it's okay for me to sit once in a while with my friends, with my colleagues, with myself, plan a vision, dream, manifest, create a project, okay? Put a plan forward, and then come back to the now and do the daily things. So I feel like I'm living in a very, very far future dream life, in a very, very now life. But I'm not living in the worries of next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, like all this so much. I know there is a future. I'm aware it's coming to me. I'm looking at, seeing that it's all good. Thank you. I've done it for a few minutes once in a while. It's enough. Now I'm focused on my daily life, on the moment to moment. I'm not so much worried about the future. And I think what we are really missing in reality is the balance between these two levels. Because sometimes we are so much into the future that we are so lost into the now. And so our quality is very poor. Our execution level is poor, by the way, because we are not in a good quality of mind. So we're actually not really serving that future that we are planning ahead to. We are actually, what's the right word? We are actually mis-serving it by really, just a second, we had a cat attack on the computer. So we're actually not really serving that future. And so I think it's okay to look at the future a little bit, but it's very important to not lose yourself into future thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're lying down in bed, before you go to sleep at night, are you concerned about tomorrow? That's a waste of energy. That's a waste of energy. Sitting once a week, planning the week, planning the month, planning the year, planning your life, fine, is okay. But do it efficiently with a notebook and a to-do list, and let it go. And come back to the now and live your day. That's it. Just do whatever you need to do. We were preparing for our conversation, and there was something with the software of the recording software, yeah? And it's like, okay, now I can see it in my end. It's like, oh, this is bad. Like, what's going on? Oh, this really, like, we're wasting our time. Like, no, it's okay. It's fine. We're just having a challenge now. and we'll be focused slowly to sort it out. And if we cannot fix it, we will reschedule our conversation. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Like, let's not take life too seriously. Let's not make a big deal out of anything. Just baby steps moving forward in life.
Yeah, no, that's somewhere that's definitely an area that I need to have, that I need to sift through how to be better about, is finding that balance. But I think that I think as somebody who's probably been on this journey much longer than I have, I mean, how, I feel like people always say that, well, this, like, once you go on this journey, like, it's work, it's hard, like, it's not just easy and all of that. But it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, but does it at a certain point eventually get much easier, or like to be more conscious? Or, I mean, or is there like a learning period of 10 years or something where you're like, okay, I'm really sifting through stuff that I have had trouble with in the past? And then, like, do you eventually get to a place where you've like sifted through it and now you just have to remind yourself? I mean, I feel like there's a very clear difference between people who have like just started on a path, and then people that have maybe been on a path for like a really long time.
I think we are developing skills that allow us to surf the waves, like surfing the waves, more skillfully. So if you are experienced surfer, when you go into the sea, you're not afraid. You know what to do. And if there is a big wave coming, you know how to take it. And if there is small waves coming, you know how to enjoy them. Yeah? So what is really happening is you are becoming a better surfer on all levels, like even enjoying the sea in every day, enjoying the different type of seas that there are out there. And it doesn't mean that there is no strong waves or there is no turbulence, or you're not going to be thrown out of a big wave into your face, but you will know how to swim back to the shore, to recap, to clean the dirt, and to go back into the sea. So what I'm thinking that is happening is not that the challenges that I have in my life are becoming different than what I used to have, is the way I'm reacting to the challenges, that I'm surfing the challenges, that I'm accepting the challenges, that I'm enjoying the difficulties, enjoying the hard moments. Usually we don't enjoy the hard moments. No, I'm enjoying them. I've been now on a journey for 2 weeks dealing with a very complicated situation that is way out of the normal life of what I have. And it required me to be way out of my comfort zone, okay? But I finished this journey, I came back home, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It was very difficult. There was hard moments. There were moments that I had these thoughts of like, oh, how do I go through this one? It seems like I need to give up, and then, but like when you ask me, how was your last week? I said, I had an amazing 2 weeks. I learned a lot of things. I met a lot of new experiences. So what I think that I've learned to do in the progress curve is to enjoy the journey, whatever is bringing on to me, even if it seems like a very difficult or harsh moments. And I think this is your learning curve. It's not about how you be always happy, always balanced, always good news, always success. No, it doesn't work like this. Now, if you're looking for it, you're full of illusions and you will continue to suffer all your life. It's about learning to be with challenges, suffering, difficulties, changes, waves, so on, so on, so on. I will also say it's also learning how not to provoke it too much. It's like I can be with changes, I'm not provoking them. I can be with difficulties, I'm not looking for them, because you can actually be self-sabotaging your life.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, oh, challenges is good. Okay, Fluke said challenges is good. Okay, I will look for challenges. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when challenges are coming, enjoy being with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying you need to seek them. Sometimes you're feeling that it's a little bit dead inside. life is too flat, you're not really playing, like you're a little bit on the side, and like, okay, come and play, go into the big city, get some challenge, get some problems, go enjoy them. Sometimes we need to bring a little bit more fire into our life. Sometimes, maybe you will resonate with this. Like, we are people of fire. We have a lot of fire and, excited and and so we're looking to lower the flames. And then sometime you kill the fire, so it's becoming cold and little bit not so fun. So, okay, we need a little bit more fire. Oh, okay, this is now warm. Okay, I like it. And sometimes you take the fire too high and you need to, so you need to observe, where is your fire? Yeah, where is your flow? Yeah, where is your peace? And if you lost some of them too much, maybe you can do something to move it. Yeah, to engage with it. So, but usually life brings you enough experience and you just kind of learning to navigate it.
Yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up, because I have been in positions where I was observing myself in a situations, or observing other people in situations where it seemed as if, I'm doing this work on myself, I'm doing the work, but also the question arose, okay, are you creating hardships, challenges, because you think it's supposed to be hard, so you need to learn from it? Or is that normal? Because even, Ali at Wonderland, she always talks about like the self-improvement project and how we need to, like, we're not a self-improvement project. And I think that sometimes people that kind of go down a journey of whatever you want to say, that it can easily turn into a life of like work, a life of I'm looking at my shadow, and it's just, to me, it's like, again, finding the balance, because I personally don't want to always be thinking I need to fix something about myself, but also like, we do need to look at that. So I think that that's something that I've observed before too, is just like seeing people that are really committed to doing the inner work, but then they just like, they're chasing after hardships or chasing after emotional pain, thinking that they're like fixing themselves. So
Yeah, I'll just say that I think the Buddha said something like the middle way. And I think it applies to everything that we do in our life. And I think it's very challenging, because when we're using the mind in order to analyze something, we are looking for an answer. And then there is right or left.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is the answer. You have to go left, you have to go right. And the answer is in the middle. So, you can give some time in your life for self-improvement. That's fine. But when your life becoming about self-improvement, you lost the way. You for sure lost the way. If your life is about self-improvement, you lost the way. If this is your mindset here, it's like you lost your way. It's like you can have this mindset for a week, for 2 weeks, for I'm going on a journey, I'm going to learn something, I'm going to do meditation. I know it's okay for a part of your life. But when you become obsessive about self-improvement, for sure you are not on the way, because this is not the middle. It's not balanced. So it's okay to do a practice that help you to learn about your life and help you improve yourself. Fine, that's good. Enjoy it, do it. It's fine. But where is the rest of the activities of life? Where is your social life? Where is your contribution to society? Where are you active in this planet? So where are you coming forward and bringing something from inside of you, sharing with this thing that is outside of you? So understanding there is many aspects to life, and understanding that you need to find the balances with them. And the balance is not holding all of them balanced all the time. It's more of like, now I'm going a little bit to that direction. Okay, and then I'm going to come back. And then I go to this direction, and then I can come back. So I can play, but I know the middle is around here. Yeah, and so I'm moving. Sometimes I go somewhere and I come back. But if I go here and I get stuck here, probably I'm going to start to pay for it. There is something unhealthy being in one corner all the time. We need to learn to be flexible and to move and to enjoy all parts of reality, not necessarily all the time, but kind of to understand that there is a balance to it. And if we find ourselves in one extreme, there probably going to be a counter force coming from that side. So it's really learning to be flexible, and it's okay to go here. Look how extreme I. It's okay. Don't do this. Don't hold on to it. That's where you start to suffer. It's like, okay, come back. Okay.
So I'm laughing only because everything always just boils down to balance. And I'm just oftentimes like it's like, okay, well, am I like, it's like, how do you know when you're actually balanced? Like, do you know, or do you just trust, or I guess you're just aware, you just observe, because everything, no matter what it is, it all has to do with balance. And I think that's what I'm navigating right now, is finding balance.
So I will say something that is a little bit gentle around this. It's more of like when you're saying, how do you know? It's already heavy on me. How do you know that you are in the right place, in balance? Oh, it's heavy. It's like, it's feel like I need to check myself all the time, and I need to examine it. And it's like, this spiritual work is too much for me. It's like, already I'm getting tired. It's like, so I'm trying to more kind of touch it on a more gentle way. It's more like, I'm aware that there are imbalances. I'm aware that I'm flying around in different waves of reality. I'm aware to this phenomena, and it's okay. And I know that if I'm going too much to the left, I remember there's going to be a force that will push me back. And usually this force will wake me up to see that I went too much to the left. And when this force will come, I will remember not to resist, not to push back. I will smile. I will not criticize myself why I went too far left. I will just say, okay, that was this time. Now I can go back in. It's like, so if I go too much to the side, I'm not necessarily trying to remember that I went so far. It's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to allow myself to continue moving. And if I move too much to the side, I promise you the force to push you back to the middle will come. The problem for most of us that when this one is coming, I'm doing this. I'm resisting it. I'm protecting myself. I need to keep this place. It's mine. Like, no, it's not mine. I can go back here. It's like, so it's more about how much resistance we have to the experience that is coming. And it's not how much I can analyze and control and see and know and be smart. And it doesn't work like this. If there is a blind spot, you can be as smart as much as you want. You will not see it. So stop trying so much. If you need to see it, you will see it. If you cannot see it, so stop trying, because you cannot. And something will show it to you. So keep being with open eyes to see what's coming and allowing yourself to continue the flow of life. Don't try to fight for the middle. Try to allow yourself to continue moving and not get stuck in one place. And remember that you're flexible.
Right. Well, well, it's so funny because I could not for the life of me, or not for the life of me. I I was trying to think about different topics to speak with you about, because like I said, you have your outlook on so many things is just so powerful. But it's funny because I feel like I ended up having a conversation with you that I needed, not that was like a hand picked out, like, oh, I think you talk about this really well. All of the things that we just talked about, I'm like, I'm just gonna have like a real conversation with Fluke about what I'm going through. And it's one of those things that all of the topics I feel like that we just like covered, they're all things that everybody deals with, I think. So
Yeah. And I think we can keep doing it on and on and on, again and again. because, you know, the more we talk, we like just explore more aspects of life. And I think that at the end of this, you know, and this is where maybe something to take with us, like when I do an inner walk workshop, there is a part every day we do an opening talk, we do the practice, and then we do a sharing circle. And I find that the sharing circle is, at least for me, the most powerful part of the work that I do with people. Of course, they are practicing, but this is more personal. They do the practice. But when we sit and we talk, and someone is sharing something, I promise you there is 15 people in the room that can listen to him and learn something about their life, because we all have the same mechanisms. We all navigate the same type of movements in reality. So you have more fire and this person have more water, but he gets stuck in the water and you get stuck in the fire. So the principle is the same. So from the outside, you and me might appear very different, but from the navigation of life, from the principle of the teaching how life works, we are the same. We apply to the same principles, to the same rules of reality. To, you know, gravity works the same on you and me. You carry hair, I don't carry hair, but it's the same gravity. You know, it's like, so I think that whatever we're going to share about our life experience is relevant for everyone if we look on the deep core element of how does it work inside of us. And so I think that even if we spoke about your personal experience, we spoke about everyone's experiences in their life. And that's what's interesting about this work. It's not personal.
No, I mean, that is so right on, because when I did the Vipassana retreat, that was something that was so fascinating that although we didn't do like an ending circle, but I just probably talked to about 6 people. And as you mentioned, every single person went through the same emotional things. Like, first they felt like it was great. Then they thought they were going crazy. Then they got really angry and thought that all these people here are ridiculous. You know, it was funny because just talking to people, and these are people from all over the world, all different parts, all age groups, everything. And I think that was something that was so, like, exactly like you said, like a light bulb switched on me, that I'm like, no matter who you are, where you're from, all of us, for the most part, go through very similar thoughts, emotions, and it's fascinating. And I think that you were talking about earlier, just people being from different cultures or different places, and it's just, to me, I'm like, and this is a whole other subject, but it's like, at the end of the day, we're all so similar. Like, we are different, but we are also so similar too. So I think this whole idea of oneness, connectedness, all of that. So, well, I thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. It was very light, very fun. Thank you. I like it.
Yes, I can't wait to go back and listen to this again for me to like take more mental notes.